We are less than a week away from round one of the 2025 NFL Draft. And on today's video, we did a company-wide mock draft here at Chat Sports. 18 different teams made picks for the channels that they do host. And I made the pick for our New York Football Giants. We went 4 rounds. I can't wait for you to see it. But I also can't wait for you to join us live for the 2025 NFL Draft as we will be live for all 3 days and every single pick. If you want to stay in the loop on everything Big Blue coming up next week, hit that big red sub button right now. All right, the first pick in the mock draft, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami, went to the Tennessee Titans. Travis Hunter, corner out of Colorado, ended up going to the Cleveland Browns, which means the Giants are on the clock with Abdul Carter right there and Shedeur Sanders right there. My question to you is, who would you pick at number 3? Is it Abdul Carter? Type AC. If it's Shedeur Sanders, type SS. As I took the seat of Joe Schoen, I couldn't pass on Abdul Carter, the pass rusher out of Penn State. Just too good of a prospect to pass up on. I have him number 2 in the draft on my big board, and I have Shedeur Sanders somewhere from 10 to 15, and I couldn't pass on the second best player in the class for a quarterback who I have a mid to late first round grade on. He's a special player, guys. Gifted pass rusher who has only begun to scratch the surface of his potential. First year as an edge rusher. Not the biggest or strongest, but has double-digit sack potential in the NFL easily, and he can potentially add way more size to his frame as he is still just 21 years old. We know the type of season that he put together for Penn State was unreal. He totaled 66 pressures, 12 sacks, 24 tackles for loss. So for all the people that say, Marsh, you can't play in the run game, yeah, he can. 24 tackles for loss. He's one of the best in college football at doing it. The Athletic's Dane Brugler saying this about Carter. He is a disruptive presence because of his explosive nature and how he mixes up his rushes to win with speed, force, and a budding arsenal of moves. He projects as a 1A pass rusher with a gift for consistently making the quarterback move his feet and making plays in the run game. Making plays in the run game. Twitter tells me he can't play in the run game. He has the number 1 pass rush grade in all college football. His pass rush production score 6th in college football. His pass rush win rate 4th in college football. And when you remove play action and screen passes, he had the 2nd best pass rush grade in all of college football. His pass rush win rate on strictly drop back passes, 35%. He beat his man 35% of the time when it was a drop-back pass. That is unreal. 66 pressures, and on true drop-back passes, he had 44 pressures. Don't overthink it. He's the best pass rusher in the class, and he should be a Giant. And I think he is going to be a Giant at number 3. I feel pretty confident about that. Not worried about his injury. Joe Schoen's not worried about his injury. I'm not worried that we already have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux. Like Joe Schoen said, you don't pass on generational players, even though you have starters at those positions. This guy is special. You can't ever have enough pass rushers, like Joe Schoen said. We will find a way to use them. And Joe Schoen also not worried about his foot, as I don't think any team is worried about his foot. I don't think there's going to be much room for pause there. He's going to be a day 1 starter for you, a day 1 impact player, and he is going to take your defense to new heights. So with the 3rd pick, we get Abdul Carter. Then the Giants at the 34th pick. Here's what some picks looked like before that, as we had, again, every Chat Sports host that covers the team make the picks and act as the GM. Matthew Golden to the Houston Texans, Kelvin Banks, James Pierce, Walter Nolan was someone I was looking at. I would have taken him at 34. Jaden Higgins, Trey Amos went, Gray Zabel, and Michael Williams. And then with the 33rd pick, the Cleveland Browns selected the running back out of Iowa, Caleb Johnson, who's a really good player. The Giants had a top 30 visit with him, met at the NFL Combine, and they hired his running back coach from Iowa. So every quarterback that was there could have still been taken. Shedeur did go number 9 to the Saints. But I decided to go with the best player on the board, a guy that I think is the 2nd best wide receiver in this class, and I think he's one of the more pro-ready receivers in this class. Emeka Egbuka, the 6'1" wide receiver out of the Ohio State, the 2nd wide receiver I'm going to still go LSU holding that spot. Shout out to Leak. Fluid and smooth route runner with solid hands, and he shows a willingness to block. He may not have an elite defining trait, but like he is a B plus at just about everything. He's going to thrive as a wide receiver 2 on the Giants, and I think there's a potential if he didn't go here, he could be a wide receiver 1 elsewhere. The stats he put up were stupid. 81 grabs, over a stack, 10 touchdowns, 12.5 yards per catch. I think he's the best slot receiver in the class. I think he can also space out to the outside and play on the boundary. And this is a guy that I think is very similar to someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brugler saying this, Egbuka is a very quarterback-friendly target. Not because he is bigger, stronger, or faster than defenders, but because he understands detailed subsidies to uncover and command the catch point. Though he can line up outside, he would thrive in a Rashee Rice-like slot role where he could expand a play-calling menu with his diverse skill set. But, Marshall, we already have Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson is entering year 4, a contract year. Are the New York Giants going to pay him the big bucks? Giants are going to have a rookie quarterback on this team sooner rather than later. I want a guy that wins in the slot, a guy that gets open over the middle of the field, makes contested catches, and isn't 5'8". No disrespect to Wan'Dale, but Egbuka is just a different level prospect. Giants were back on the clock with the 65th pick, and this is what the picks looked like before. Siobhan Revel, the junior, the corner out of East Carolina. Jonas Savaiinaea went at 59. That one hurt. Alfred Collins went at 62. That hurt. Savaiinaea and Collins were 2 guys I was eyeing at that pick. But I still went defensive tackle. And in my opinion, the best interior pass rusher in the class, Omar Norman Lott, the interior D lineman out of Tennessee. 6'1" and 7/8 of an inch. He's 6'2", over 300 pounds. A lot of people don't think he can play in the run game. I think he's going to be able to develop into that. But there's not a better interior pass rusher in all of college football. His pass rush win rate, 18.9%, first in the nation. His pass rush production score, 12.6, number 1 in the nation. The second best was Derek Harmon at 9.1, a 3.5-point difference. That is massive. His true pass rush win percentage, when you remove screen plays and play action, 30.8%. Yeah, you guessed it, first in the country. And his true pass rush production score, 20.1, number 1 in the country. 18 tackles this past year. He kind of was like, well, one, the University or Tennessee, the Volunteers, they have a rotating system at D-line. And I think in the NFL, he's going to have a lot more work on his plate, and I think he's going to be a lot better player. 4 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and 27 pressures. Brugler saying this about Norman Lott. He is an explosive disruptor and offers high upside for a coaching staff that can harness his energy. Although he will need to improve his undisciplined tendencies, especially in the run game, there is no doubt about his NFL talent. But his ability to handle more of a full-time role is a tricky projection. I think he's going to be able to handle it, and I think adding a guy that can face one-on-one blocks with Dexter Lawrence is huge. How did the Eagles win the Super Bowl? By rushing 4. If you have Omar Norman Lott, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau rotating in, and maybe you want to send 5 guys and say, let's put a hat on a hat, and you got to block us one-on-one. I like that because that's how the New York Giants won not 1 but 2 Super Bowls against the greatest coach of all time and the greatest football player of all time. Giants were back on the clock with the 99th selection. Some picks that went before: Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Shuck, Kobe Bryant, Quincy Riley, Savion Williams, Kyle McCord, Devin Neal, Jacob Parrish. Also, Jalen Milroe was off the board at this selection. So all the quarterbacks that I was kind of looking at were gone, and I'm kind of the belief is if you don't take a quarterback in round 1 in Shedeur Sanders, I am completely okay and kind of pushing for the New York Giants not to take one overall. So I went back into the trenches, this time on the offensive side of the football. Right guard Miles Frazier out of LSU, the Bayou Bengal, is who I looked at. Dane Brugler has Frazier as his 5th best guard in the class. Tom Downey has him as his 8th best guard. 83rd overall player. We got him at pick 99. A lot of positional flexibility across the line. He's bounced out to right tackle in the bowl game because their starting right tackle did not play. As a pass blocker, Frazier's slide quickness will be tested by gap shooters, says Dane Brugler, but his mature hand usage allows him to lose slowly once squared up to defenders. Although he tends to lean into contact and leave his feet behind, He fits with vice grips in the run game to drive defenders from the spot with torque. He is a physical football player, ladies and gentlemen. An overall PFF grade of 70.4, an 88 pass blocking grade, a run blocking grade of 64.1. I think a little bit underrated in that department. When he gets his hands on you, when you play in the Miles Frazier phone booth, you're going to get put on your back, and I'm expecting him to do that quite often for the New York Football Giants for the foreseeable future. And the thing I like about him is he doesn't have to be a starter day one. That could be Greg Van Roten, but he can learn behind Greg Van Roten. He can continue to grow, and he's someone that I could see as a potential starting right guard down the line for the New York Football Giants. From pick 99 to pick 105, and I went Dylan Sampson. And if you could tell, I usually went best player available outside around 3. I tried to match the need with that guard, but I still had Frazier rated extremely high. Dylan Sampson was too good to pass up. I don't agree with Tom Downey that he has him as the 105th best player in this class or the 10th best running back. This is a guy that Dane Brugler has as the 6th best back. Dane Brugler also has him as a 2nd or 3rd round grade, and he has him as the 74th overall best player. He's a home run hitter. You put the ball in his hands, if there's a crease, he's going to fill it. Brugler saying this: Sampson is undersized by NFL standards, and his inconsistent tempo gets him in trouble, but he is equal parts fast, physical, and slippery as a runner and shows promise as a pass catcher. He can have a Tony Pollard-like impact for an NFL backfield. If you're telling me with the 105th overall pick we select Tony Pollard, I am going to be fist-pumping all night long. Like, come on, this guy touched Pater 22 times last year. He's got a nose for the end zone. 929 yards after contact. Don't tell me he's too small. 3.6 yards per carry after contact. Don't tell me he's too small. 70 missed tackles forced. 38 runs of 10-plus yards. And 17 runs of 15-plus yards. Let's create explosive plays. Let's get some speed on the field. Oh, and he's 20 years old. Just scratching the surface. Not a lot of workload on those tires either. Sampson and Tracy, that's the type backfield I'm looking for. So let's recap the draft. Abdul Carter, Emeka Egbuka, Omar Norman Lott, Miles Frazier, and Dylan Sampson. We only went 4 rounds. Giants do have a couple more picks in this class, but this is what we did in the company-wide mock draft, and I want you to grade it for me. Grade this mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. I'd give this one, and I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit, a B+ here. I wouldn't have minded maybe prioritizing an offensive lineman at a little bit earlier in the class, but it is what it is. That's how the board fell out, and it shook how the way it shook. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Give me a follow. Hit that like button, and let's go G-Men.